Hello and welcome to the SPM Podcast. Coming up on today's show, we talk about the Netflix show Glow, as well as giving our views on the film Baby Driver. We also update you on the films we've been watching. Then in news, we talk about a possible Baby Driver sequel, as well as the rumour that Tarantino may be working on a Manson murders film. Then we round out the show by going through the releases for July and August. So we're going to start out this month's podcast by talking about, well, kind of wrestling, but a TV show based around wrestling, and that's the Netflix show called Glow, which stands for Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, if I remember rightly.
Yes.
A lot of people were praising this, and we love wrestling, and it has Alison Brie in it, so it sounded like it should have been really good. Parts of it are really good, but overall I don't think it was that good a show.
You're actually telling me right now that you don't like Glow?
I like it. It's just no. I liked it. It's just here's my issue with the show. The best parts were when it was like really focused on the wrestling and not on the characters. That was the best parts, when they were like doing all the wrestling shit. But the drama like around them and the characters are just, a lot of them I hated, and a lot of the parts of the show that weren't like about the wrestling were very I don't know if I'd say slow, but that's what they felt like. I was just waiting for them to get to the next bit. And there were a lot of lowlights, but there are highlights as well. And I don't think that makes a good show. A good show should be either consistently good with great moments, or consistently great with okay moments. It shouldn't be, this is a great moment. Oh wait, now we're down to very slow and very low moments.
I didn't think that I loved all of it. I enjoyed it. I really related to the characters and stuff. I loved the characters. And all the storylines, I loved them all. I loved everything about Glow.
I'm still not sure if the intention was for us to hate Alison Brie's character until, spoiler warning, if you actually care about Glow, Alison Brie cheats on her best friend with her best friend's husband at the time.
No, her best friend's husband cheats on her with...
Takes two to tango.
Yeah, but she's not in the relationship. She didn't cheat on her.
I know, but whatever.
She helped her husband cheat, which isn't...
The wife finds out, and then they hate each other, and the show is kind of about them slowly... not even becoming friends again, because literally in the last episode, she's still not friends with her. But it's kind of like them getting past it. And I don't know if the idea was for us to hate the character and then slowly begin to like her, because I couldn't stand Alison Brie's character for the first half of the season. She fucking drove me insane. And I like Alison Brie as an actress. It's just her character was fucking dreadful.
Ruth.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating. And just, it's a character you want that was so easy to hate, and it's really hard to figure out if that was the intention or not.
I think it might have been, to be honest, because she was literally a home wrecker, and people don't like that, so I think that you were meant to dislike her character a little bit.
Something interesting I noticed about the show is, because the main cast was mostly females except for Mark Maron, and when they introduced the producer, part of me was expecting they were going to make him portray like a very rapey, I was like, white dude with money. But he turned out to actually be an interesting character.
He was a wrestling fan.
Yeah, he was a wrestling fan. He was doing this because he loved wrestling. And yeah, he was a kind of a bit of a douchebag at moments. But he was a pretty nice character. And apart from Keith is Cherry Bang's husband, and he was best character in the show. He was best character in the show. Because he's just fucking funny, and you couldn't hate him at all, because he was so supportive of his wife as well.
He was hardly in it.
Yeah, but he was the referee. He was the referee in the match, and when he was refereeing her matches, he would always say stuff to her, and they'd have a conversation while she's wrestling, and she's like, Keith is best character.
You like a conversation asking he's asking what they're gonna have for dinner.
It's purposely cheesy and over the top, because that's literally what 80s wrestling was, and I appreciate that. As a wrestling fan, it's a good show. As a fan of TV and it's not really TV, it's streaming, but as a fan of shows, it's not a great show. Good wrestling show, not a good show. If you're not a wrestling fan, you're probably not going to enjoy the show. I don't know, because it's 80s wrestling, and it's kind of like the wrestling everyone knows, the very cheesy, over-the-top stuff, so you may get some comedic value out of it, but I think the only way you can truly appreciate this show is if you're a big fan of wrestling. Next up, we want to talk about Baby Driver. If you recall the last podcast when we talked about the releases, we mentioned how Edgar Wright's new film, Baby Driver, was releasing. Well, since the film was released, we've been to see it twice. In fact, we went to see it 2 days before we record this. We normally record this on a Thursday, we went to see it on a Tuesday. I'm just going to say it straight up, it's Edgar Wright's best film. And this is just coming from someone who fucking loves Scott Pilgrim. It's one of my all-time favourite films.
And it is my favourite film.
If I had to critically, explain why I think Baby Driver is a better film, Scott Pilgrim is an amazing film if you love the gimmicky nature of it, because it's all the video game comic book style, and if you're not a fan of that, you're gonna fucking hate that film. Baby Driver is a film that's technically sound and doesn't rely on gimmicks. It's a technical masterpiece. The characters are fucking great, and narratively it's a bit cliche. Actually, it's very cliche, but it's cliche in a way that makes you actually care, and I think it shows Edgar Wright is one of the best directors alive today.
Well, I haven't really got much to say about Baby Driver, things that Liam said, wherever. Over the 2 times that me and Liam have seen Baby Driver, I loved it more the second time that we saw it. I did. Because you notice more things the second time that you watch something, and then you notice more and more, the more you watch
it. The same goes for, any film you watch. Is I remember watching Fight Club for the first time and loving it. And then I watched it again and again, and you start noticing things the first time watching, I didn't notice Brad Pitt appearing for the single frames, and then I can't not notice them these days, and I pointed out to people, and they're like, oh shit, yeah. I didn't notice a whole lot of more detail the second time watching, and I don't know why it was. I think I just went into cinema mode where I was just laser focused on actually what was going on and not really paying attention to anything else. Coming back to the point I made about it being a technical masterpiece, the film is Edgar Wright through and through. Because if you've seen any other Edgar Wright film, you know he's got a thing for music in his films. He's very well known for his ability to sync up sequences and choreograph sequences to music. And literally this entire film is almost perfectly synced to the soundtrack. There are obviously moments that aren't synced to the soundtrack, but a lot of it is. There's a scene, actually there's a few scenes like it, where they're firing guns at different people, and literally when they're firing the guns are going off to the actual song, literally to the beat, to the song itself. The gunfire is synced, and it's just little details like that just make you think that Edgar Wright fucking put everything into this film, and you can tell it was his passion project, because he said he's been working on this film most of his life. That's what the music video was. The music video was a dry run for the actual film itself.
I do think that Baby Driver is the best film that Edgar Wright has made. And where it is coming from me, obviously you know that Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is my all-time favourite film. But Baby Driver is definitely better than Scott Pilgrim. It shows because, how long he worked on it, how much he loved Baby Driver, and it shows in his work. And I just love that he put so much heart and so much work and so much of himself into something, and it turned out the way that it did. Everyone I've talked to about this film absolutely loves it, and honestly you can't give it enough praise because it's so good.
No, what's interesting to me is it's not something I believe, and I'm actually surprised I haven't seen much of it. I guess it just depends on the people I follow and the fact that it's an Edgar Wright film, so it's not a huge release, I guess. But there is one small detail that I imagine some people got pissed off about, is when you think about it, Deborah is what people seem to be fighting against for female characters. I don't care, I'm just bringing this up because I imagine some people are going to make the argument where it's she's literally just there to be Baby's love interest.
What's so bad about that?
I don't think there's anything bad about it, because I think all stories deserve to be told, and not every story needs every character to be entirely fleshed out and fully not three-dimensional, but fully like realized characters, because that was literally her thing. It was a reason for Baby to escape the world he was in. It was it was his main reason for just fucking, you fell in love. Yeah.
Love.
There are people that complain about this stuff, and it's like, I understand if every film was like this, but it's not. And just because you don't like it, or you think, oh, they should be different, that's not your right to say, because it's not your story. That he wanted to tell a story, and he did. The characters are there to tell the story. The characters aren't there to be a political message. They're literally there to tell a story.
They needed Deborah in the story. For it to be told properly, Deborah needed to be there. And no matter what role she played, it was important to the film. So people need to shut the fuck up.
We are getting through this topic section a bit quick this time. We just haven't got a whole lot to say about everything. So I think the final thing we're going to talk about is I'm still kind of doing the film a day thing, except I've changed the concept because I missed like 2 days and I just didn't want to continue. So instead, this is just now a list of films I'm watching while creating this next short film. And since then, the films I've watched with Leah include Shutter Island and The Shining. One I fucking adored, and the other I appreciated a lot. I just didn't enjoy as much as Shutter Island. So we're going to talk about Shutter Island first because it's the first film since then we've watched. Again, warning for spoilers, but I imagine a lot of people's issue with the film Shutter Island is kind of the reveal at the end where the main character, the protagonist, is actually made all this shit up about there being a conspiracy, because he's actually not a prisoner.
Patient.
He's a patient at this mental asylum on this island, and he's made up this whole conspiracy about him being a marshal, and then coming to investigate. I can see the issue where it feels like it comes out of nowhere, but personally for me it didn't feel that way, because literally all the way through the film I'd noticed the small detail where there was like a few small things planted where it was like, well, something's not as it seems, something's got to be wrong, this can't be real. It executed it perfectly for me, and again, I'm going to be one of those people, I don't get how Leo didn't get an Oscar until like a few years back.
No, it was last year he got an Oscar.
Yeah, because he's been in so much amazing shit, and Shutter Island's one of his great performances, and he just I don't get it. I think at some point it just became a running joke for the Academy. It was like, oh, Leo's nominated, but we're not going to let him win. And then eventually they did.
Well, I enjoyed Shutter Island, but you saw my face at the great reveal. You saw it. My arms went straight up in the air and I shouted, I am so confused. Like, I was honestly so confused.
Is it because you didn't notice, like, the occasional clue? Or?
I was just watching the film. I was too interested in the story to, in the characters and what they were doing. I didn't see anything else apart from the characters and what they were doing. I couldn't see anything that you saw, probably because I was trying to just watch Leo. So
you always have the same reaction to any plot twist, though. If it's executed well, your reaction is always, what the fuck? I'm so confused.
At least you've pointed out that it's only when a plot twist is executed well.
Well, duh, because not every plot twist is a good one. But, like, the Fight Club reveal...
That one pissed me off. I think the Fight Club one was probably my best reaction.
Yeah, I think Shutter Island's a bit of an underappreciated film. I don't hear a lot of people ever talk about it.
I'll have to, honestly, for me to gather my thoughts on Shutter Island properly, I will have to watch it again. Because, I was just confused.
And in case you don't know, a bit of information that may help you, the film is directed by Martin Scorsese. So, there's another star, and it had, what was his name? It also has Mark Ruffalo in it. So, you got Leo, Mark Ruffalo, Ben Kingsley, and it's directed by Martin Scorsese. So it's a very good team of people working on this film, and I think it's underappreciated. Anyway, after that we watched The Shining, and I know it's going to sound like blasphemy that it's taken me 18 years of my life to finally watch The Shining.
So yeah, this isn't the first time I've watched The Shining. The Shining is one of my favourite films. I just had a hella hard time convincing Liam to watch it for a while.
It's not that I need convincing to watch it, it's that I get into a mindset where I have so much shit I could watch, and I just can't bring myself to watch any of it. Like, my film list is like over 200 films long. I have a bunch of TV shows that I haven't even started yet, and some I have to catch up on. I just get into this mindset where it's like, well, I have so much I could watch, I don't want to watch any of it, so I'm just going to watch stuff I've already seen. Anyway, back to The Shining. Again, it's a Kubrick film, and I do have a great appreciation for Kubrick, as he is one of the greatest directors of all time. The Shining, I enjoyed it a lot. There's a lot good about it. Again, it's a Kubrick film, so the sets are fucking gorgeous. Like, the hotel has some of the best, like, set-wise is some of the most beautiful stuff I've seen in a film. And there's a lot of continuous takes in the film. A lot of stuff I love about cinematography. But I do have a few bugbears with the film. And why are you laughing?
Because I know what one of them's gonna be.
One of them is probably people probably agree with me on. Another is probably something that people won't. I'm going to do the one first that a lot of people may agree with me on, and I think that Wendy is the most unbearable character in cinema history. I wanted to kill her myself. I sided with fucking...
Wendy was the victim, Liam.
I know, but I sided with Jack because she was so unbearable. I know that wasn't the intention,
No.
but she just drove me insane, and I was kind of like hoping that Jack would kill her. But I knew he didn't because I'd seen how the film ended beforehand. So I feel like at least some people agree with me on that one, because she is a very annoying character.
Well, I think that the person that played Wendy's a terrible actress.
Shelley Duvall.
She's shit. I think she's shit.
She was in Annie Hall, which is a Woody Allen film. I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah. But I honestly thought that, the one that played Wendy, she is a shit actress. Yeah, she was definitely a really bad character. Like, nah. I don't have much else to say about her, though, because you've already, said that you wanted to kill her.
My other issue with the film is the one that people may have with me, is I think Danny's power is literally pointless. The only reason it's there is as narrative convenience. As I just said, it's narrative convenience. It's there as an excuse for a bunch of things during the film. For example, the film wants to show weird visions, premonitions of what's going to happen. What's the best way to do this? Danny has a power. Okay, I can get along with that because they have to find some way of it making sense. But then they want a visually interesting cue for the fact that Jack's going to murder Wendy and Danny. So they have his power write red rum on the door, and then when you see it, the reflection, it says murder, which is a really fucking good reveal.
Yeah, it's clever.
It's an amazing reveal, but again, it's narrative convenience. It's reliant on Danny having this power, and I honestly think this is where I'm probably going to lose some people. I think this film would have been better off if it dropped the supernatural shit. Well, it doesn't have to drop the whole supernatural shit, just drop Danny's power, and it just focused on a cabin fever story, where Jack, because he's up there for so long, that is basically what the film is. Jack's been up there for so long that he gets cabin fever, and he just gets so fucking fed up and frustrated with everything and goes nuts. He snaps. And I think that would have been a great story. It doesn't need Danny's power. It doesn't serve any... It's not helpful at all to the story, except for a narrative convenience. It's literally there as a film tool. It's there to help the audience.
Yeah, but it's in the book as well.
I know, but I don't know how it's handled in the book. I know how it's handled in the film, and in the film it feels pointless and stupid for me. Again, as I said, this is probably where I'm losing people, but personally that's how I felt. Again, though, I have to repeat, the film it's fucking great. It's Kubrick, and it's a great film. It's just those two bugbears bring the film down for me.
I think that The Shining is a visionary masterpiece. It is.
As I said, it's visually beautiful. There's a lot of fucking gorgeous stuff in it.
Some of the most iconic pictures of all time.
It's
so iconic.
As I said, it's visually gorgeous and some of the most beautiful sets I've seen in films. It's just those two things bring it down a bit for me. I'm not saying it's not a great film, because it is, and there's no taking away from that. It's just those two things bring it down for me slightly, and that's a personal thing. Like, that's the great thing about film and art in general, is it's subjective, and you can have your own opinion on it, and you don't always have to agree. But that's literally how I feel about The Shining. So that's all I have to say about it. I don't know if you want to say anything else about it.
Well, I am a massive Stephen King fan. But my favourite Stephen King film Stephen King book that has been made into a film is Carrie. And Carrie was so good. But for me, I honestly think that I loved The Shining way more than I loved Carrie. And I didn't think that was possible. And over the years that I've been alive, I have seen The Shining so many times. And every single time I am blown away by it. Apart from Wendy, of course, because she's just a fucking shit character. But apart from that, I loved everything about The Shining. But like Liam said, Danny's powers they didn't need to be there. And they weren't exactly interesting.
Wait, there was one more film we watched.
Huh?
Submarine.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Submarine is a film that I've seen a lot about because I spend quite a bit of time on Tumblr, and it's a very Tumblr film, you have to admit. But Submarine's a definite British indie film, there's no denying it. Because it's got... I don't know what it is about British indie films, they have a very certain vibe to them. And Submarine matches that perfectly. And it's directed by Richard Ayoade. But the film itself... I seem to have this issue with a lot of British indies where they're beautifully shot, they're weird, and they're interesting, but some of it's just, it doesn't hit home for me. And like I said, like, characters have a certain charm to them, but I found it difficult to actually like any of them.
I fell asleep during Submarine, so that tells you what I thought of it.
It's just like there was some good stuff there, and it was set in Wales, which was interesting, but it's just a problem that British indie films have where they seem to create unlikable characters. I don't know if it's on purpose. I know I do it on purpose. But a lot of British indies seem to fall into this trap and making unlikable characters. And for me, if I can't like any character in the film, which I didn't for this film, then I can't enjoy it as much. I need something to latch onto. Like, not to relate to. I don't need that. I need a character where I can go, oh yeah, this character. I don't want to be like, well, these characters are... annoying. And I wouldn't say the characters in Submarine are annoying, it's just they're not people I like. And that's all I really have to say about Submarine. It's beautiful, it's got, like, cinematography wise beautiful, edited beautifully, and it's got a really interesting use of sound, which is something you don't see a lot of in film. But apart from that, there is some down moments in the film.
Well, like I said, I fell asleep during Submarine. I think it was like towards the end of it, so it bored me a little bit. But it was very pretty, and I did appreciate the way it looked. You know, it was just very beautifully shot, and it was very well put together. But the storyline, it threw me off a little bit. I have no idea what was actually meant to happen. And that's probably because I fell asleep, but still, it bored me in certain points certain parts to the point where I fell asleep, so...
Okay, I actually have one more, because I realised we watched one yesterday, Tuesday.
Yes.
It's technically a film, but it's technically a HBO original film. It's not a film that's been shown. A film called Tour de Pharmacy. If anyone's heard of the film or seen the film 7 Days in Hell, it's a continuation of that series where it's a parody of a sports story. It's got Andy Samberg in it. The fucking cast for this is insane. It's got Andy Samberg, who's I fucking love because Lonely Island. It's got John Cena. It's got Orlando Bloom. It's got J.J. Abrams. It's got Dolph Lundgren. It's got James Earl Jones in it as well. It's got Lance Armstrong, Mike Tyson. It's just like the cast is insane, and it's a fucking sports parody film. There's not much more to say about it. I personally...
Serena Williams is in it as well. The actual tennis player, Serena Williams.
I think 7 Days in Hell is better than Tour de Pharmacy, because I found it more funny. However, the film's quite enjoyable, and the all-star cast makes it very interesting to watch. But fucking John Cena is the hands-down best part of this entire damn film. His character is just fucking great. Yeah, we don't have much to say about this. I kind of like wasn't paying much attention because we had the kitten in the room. But anything you want to add?
John Cena.
And his name is John Cena!
Now, moving on to news, we actually have 2 articles to talk about today, and neither of them are political in any nature, because I'm not in the mood for depressing shit. So instead, we're going to focus on stuff we love, which is film. And speaking of things we love, Baby Driver. In fact, Baby Driver was so good that apparently the studio has asked Edgar Wright to write a sequel. And Edgar has said he'd consider it because he thinks there is somewhere he could go with the characters. This is not a definite thing. He just says he thinks that there is a possibility of a sequel and he thinks it could work. He's literally said, most sequels you have to contrive something so they go back to square one, unless there's somewhere deeper for them to go. I think with Baby Driver there's more than you can do in that realm, and I sort of have an idea that if you did another film, you would subvert his involvement in the crime in a different way so he's not the apprentice anymore. So basically he's saying that if he were to make a sequel, he could possibly make it so that Baby is not the apprentice, maybe he's taken someone else under or something, or maybe he's involved in a different kind of crime.
I don't think Baby would be involved in any more crimes.
That's my thing, is
I
think if Edgar...
He went to jail!
While I think if Edgar feels he can do a sequel, and literally Edgar's one of those people who hate sequels because him and Simon Pegg actually considered a sequel to Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
But they realised it just wouldn't make sense.
There was no way for Shaun of the Dead to go after it finished.
And he thinks like that, which is I appreciate, because it's not well, we have to keep telling the same story. It's let's tell different stories and just keep doing it. Personally, I think I don't know if a sequel works. If he thinks he can make it work, then sure, he's free to try. I just personally I don't see how it'd work. But again, not my story, and he may. He does mention that there was a particular deleted scene that could be used as a sequel.
Well, me liking Baby Driver so much, and because didn't it end with Baby getting out of prison, or was that just a dream? Because he actually did get out, didn't he?
Yeah, because the colour came back.
Yeah. Well, there is obviously, something for him and Deborah to do. Whether it's going to be that fucking road trip they talked about or whatever, but I think that a sequel to Baby Driver could be very interesting. Just depends on where he takes it.
In other film news, another amazing director, one of my favourites, Tarantino, has been linked with the possibility of making a film about the Charles Manson murders. I guess that's...
He technically didn't kill anybody.
I know, but he had a cult. So it's
he did have a cult.
Yeah, he's working on it. Apparently he's still writing the script, and apparently Brad Pitt and possibly Jennifer Lawrence have already been approached, but our studio's expecting the screenplay later this summer. Obviously there's nothing set in stone right now, and Empire is pointing out how it would be an outlier in his work since the subject matter, even more than Bastards' alt history story, would dramatise real events and would require a certain level of sensitivity given the tragic nature of the incident. Knowing Tarantino...
He wouldn't care about that, will he?
No.
He will not care about that. There's going to be lots of blood and lots of violence, and someone's going to say, why so violent? And he's going to say, because it's fun, Sharon.
You literally mentioned what I was about to mention. That's still my favourite fucking reaction to an interview. It's just like some...
Because it's fun, Sharon.
Yeah. It is. It's like, he's not doing it for any other reason. It's fucking fun. Tarantino films are fun because they're just so over-the-top gory. Nobody's looking at them going, yeah, this is real life. It's, wow, this is fucking amazing.
Love Tarantino for his fuck you to everybody and going, nah, I'm gonna make my film the way I want to. There's a few broken bones. Fuck it. There's a lot of blood. I have some blood in there as well. Blood.
This is a bit more interesting. Deadline sources, meanwhile, have been saying that Margot Robbie is a potential Sharon Tate, and that Tarantino regular Samuel Jackson might be involved. If it does indeed come together, the director is apparently hoping to kick off production next year.
I'm not sure about Margot Robbie for a Tarantino film.
Really?
I mean, like, if she can pull the character off, then go for it. But like, I don't see in my head, because all I can see when I think of Margot Robbie is Harley Quinn.
I'm pretty sure Channing Tatum was in a Tarantino film.
Channing Tatum is fucking awful. He's a shit actor.
Yeah, Channing Tatum was in Hateful Eight, so he was in a Tarantino film.
Bloody hell.
I still haven't watched Hateful Eight. I've been meaning to watch it.
I've watched Hateful Eight. Yeah, I didn't see him in there. Maybe I just didn't recognize
I've been meaning to watch it since it came out. I just haven't got around to it because it's nearly 3 hours long, and I had to sit down and dedicate time to it.
Yeah, it's really good. But when you watch Hateful Eight, watch it without me because I will not sit still.
Anyway, that's the 2 news articles. Nothing fancy, nothing political. Just 2 things about film, and that's all this podcast is today. It's just us talking about shit we love, which is film and shows. Now on to releases. We're going to start with this month, and we're actually going to start with the 5th of July, so we're technically going back a bit, but the first film coming out on the 5th of July is Spider-Man Homecoming. So it's another reboot of the Spider-Man franchise, this time with a much younger looking Peter Parker. Spider-Man Homecoming follows Peter Parker with the help of his mentor Tony Stark as he tries to balance his life as an ordinary high school student in New York City while fighting crime as his superhero alter ego Spider-Man when a new threat emerges. Because obviously it's after the release dates, I've heard it's actually a pretty good Spider-Man film. I haven't seen it yet, and I'm going to wait for it to come out on Blu-ray before I watch it. But I've heard it's pretty good. I enjoyed Tom Holland in The Avengers as Spider-Man. I think he portrayed it really well. He's nerdy, young, and daft, but not fucking Tobey Maguire daft. Anything to add?
Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. No, he's not the best Spider-Man, he's the best Peter Parker.
Whatever.
Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man.
Until we see this.
Until I see this, and then I'm gonna have to decide. But Tobey Maguire is always gonna be the best Peter Parker. Okay, so on the 7th of July, we have a film called It Comes at Night. Secure within a desolate home as an unnatural threat terrorizes the world, a man has established a tenuous domestic order with his wife and son, but this will soon be put to the test when a desperate young family arrives seeking refuge.
It's a horror film, so I'm instantly less interested. Although, to be fair, it does sound like an interesting premise. I might wait for it to come out on Blu-ray again and give it a watch then. It's not something I'm going to go see in cinema. What do you think?
I don't... probably not.
Anyway, staying on the 7th of July, next up we have a film called Song to Song. This film seems to be receiving iffy ratings, but it sounds interesting, so I'm probably going to give it a chance at some point. Song to Song is about 2 intersecting love triangles. Obsession and betrayal set against the music scene in Austin, Texas. It stars Ryan Gosling, Rooney Mara, and Michael Fassbender, Natalie Portman, Cate Blanchard, Val Kilmer. It's got a very interesting cast. Sing Street nailed this whole idea of music romance drama thing set to a certain era or area of music. So I'm probably going to give this a chance. The poster looks interesting at least, and it sounds like an interesting concept. And it's got Ryan Gosling, who, despite me not thinking he's the best actor in the world, he's in 3 films that I absolutely adore. So I kind of have to is it because of him, or is he just in films that I like? What do you think?
What about Ryan Gosling?
Oh, about Ryan Gosling or about the film?
Well, it sounds interesting. I probably want to watch it at some point. The 7th of July, again, we've got a film called The Boy and the Beast, or Big Mono no Ko. It is a...
anime film?
Yeah, anime, so it's Japanese. So the synopsis is... When a young orphan boy living on the streets of Shibuya, I don't know, stumbles upon a fantastic world of beasts, he's taken in by a gruff warrior beast looking for an apprentice.
I am one of those people who do not like anime. I don't know what it is about anime. I just do not get on with it. I've watched half of Death Note. I've watched most of Death Note. I tried watching Kill la Kill. It's just I don't like anime. It's just the way it's. I don't know if it's a pacing thing. They pace it differently. So I just don't enjoy it. So it's not a film I'm gonna pay attention to. Do you say you were gonna give it a watch at some point?
No, probably not.
Okay. Next up, we have a film called The Last Word. Harriet is a retired businesswoman who tries to control everything about her. When she decides to write her own obituary, a young journalist takes up the task of finding out the truth, resulting in a life-altering friendship. And I swear to God, I've heard this story before.
Probably.
I feel like it's definitely a story that's been told numerous times. Not a film that's interesting to me. It's got Shirley MacLaine, Amanda Seyfried.
Seyfried.
Yeah. Seyfried, yeah. But it's not a film that interests me.
I have a film called The Midwife. The synopsis is: a midwife gets unexpected news from her father's old mistress.
It looks like it might be French language. Scroll down.
Yep.
Yeah, it's French. It's a French film. That's why it's called, the original title is Sage Femme.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a French film about a midwife. I'm assuming the mistress gets pregnant by another man? Possibly?
The mistress looks like she's over 50, Liam. Women over 50 can't get pregnant.
Well, they can. She's very unlikely.
No, they can't.
Next up, we have a film called Tommy's Honor. You know, when I go through the list, I tend to keep films in because they sound or look really shit. In every generation, a torch passes from father to son, and that timeless dynamic is the beating heart of Tommy's Honor, an intimate, powerful, moving tale of the real-life founders of the modern game of golf.
Ew.
It's a film about the people who founded the modern game of golf.
So it's just they invented golf.
And they're trying to make it sound
Interesting.
like it's some big fucking story. Yeah, it's not a film I'm gonna watch. I literally left it in because it's just a fucking weird idea.
Okay, so up next on the releases for the 11th of July, we have War for the Planet of the Apes. Synopsis is, after the apes suffer unimaginable losses, Caesar wrestles with his darker instincts and begins his own mythic quest to avenge his kind.
So it's a continuation of the Planet of the Apes saga
Yes.
trilogy at this point that they've made. Apparently, I've read reviews, and apparently it's people are saying it if you want a mature, but like it's a mature blockbuster, which is very interesting to me because normally some of blockbusters are anything but mature. But apparently it's quite good. So I'm probably gonna wait for it to come out on Blu-ray because again, it's not a film I really want to go see. I don't think I've even seen the second one. I watched the first Planet of the Apes numerous times. I've never seen what's the second one? Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that. I'd probably give that a watch.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes is really good, but I think the titles are just too long. Because I don't really like Planet of the Apes, so.
On the 14th of July, we see the release of Cars 3, because I can't say 3.
Yes, you can.
Lightning McQueen sets out to prove to a new generation of racers that he's still the best race car in the world. It's another Cars film. Remember when, I never watched it, but remember when they released the first trailer for this film? And apparently it was very dark.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't watched it, but that's what people are saying. Again, it's a Cars film, and I don't care. Didn't the second one fucking introduce like planes and stuff?
Yeah, the second one had planes in it.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the second one probably. I watched the first one. I actually enjoyed the first one.
The first one was really good. I liked it.
I wouldn't say it was really good, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's another Cars film. If that interests you at all, then you're probably like 10 years old.
Or you just like Disney films. Okay, so on the 14th, on the same day, we've got David Lynch, The Art Life. Artist and filmmaker David Lynch discusses his early life and the events that shaped his outlook on art and creative process.
So yes, director, I think writer, David Lynch, the guy who's known for Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, and Blue Velvet. A guy who's notorious for being very, some might describe, artsy-fartsy. I've never actually watched a David Lynch film, or watched Twin Peaks for that matter, but Twin Peaks is on my list, and but I've got a couple of his films that I'm gonna get around to watching at some point because I do love artsy-fartsy, and if David Lynch lives up to the hype, then it's gonna be great. So this seems to be a documentary about him, which is, I imagine, it's gonna be very interesting for at least for David Lynch fans, and part of me thinks just for fans of film in general, because anytime you get to hear from a creator like Lynch, who seems to be, I guess, very artistic is how I'd put it. It's always an interesting learning experience. It's like when you listen to interviews with like Tarantino and you find out the only reason he makes gory films because it's fun, or I don't know, it's always interesting to learn from people, so I may give that a watch at some point. Next up, we have a film called The Beguiled. At a girls' school in Virginia during the Civil War, where the young women have been sheltered from the outside world, a wounded Union soldier is taken in. Soon, the house is taken over with sexual tension, rivalries, and an unexpected turn of events.
Ooh.
I'm not a huge fan of period pieces.
I like period pieces.
So I'm not sure how interested I am in this. It's got Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Dunst, Ali Fannin, and those are the ones I recognise. I mean, it sounds interesting, and Sofia Coppola is a known director, writer. She made Lost in Translation, The Virgin Suicides, and Marie Antoinette. So yeah, she's quite well known. Again, not a film I'm gonna go see in the cinema, and something I may skip out on because again, I'm not a huge fan of period pieces.
Oh, we'll see. Okay, so on the 21st of July, we have a film called City of Ghosts. It is a documentary that follows the effort of Raqqa. I don't know how it says.
A documentary that follows the efforts of Rackers being slaughtered silently, a handful of anonymous activists who banded together after the homeland was taken over by ISIS in 2014. With deeply personal access, this is the story of a brave group of citizen journalists as they face the realities of life undercover, on the run, and in exile, risking their lives to stand up against one of the greatest evils in the world today. So it's a documentary about a bunch of civilian activists, who live in ISIS-operated countries, and it tells their story. A journalist, pretty sure. It's definitely something that's interesting to me. The poster as well is fucking gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
So I may give that a watch at some point. Again, not something I'm going to go see in cinema. A documentary is something that I don't...
They don't really show documentaries in cinema.
Well, they do. It's just, it's not a genre that I feel works well in cinema. I feel like it's definitely, like, Netflix is the best platform for documentary streaming. Anyway, next up we have Christopher Nolan's new film, Dunkirk. Allied soldiers from Belgium, the British Empire, Canada and France are surrounded by the German army evacuate during a fierce battle in World War II. I'm interested in this purely because it's Christopher Nolan and World War II stories tend to be pretty good. Christopher Nolan and a World War II story sounds like it's a great combination. My issue is that it's a 12A. I feel like if you're going to do a war film, especially one about Dunkirk, so Dunkirk's not D-Day, is it? It's a different one. But if you're going to do a story about the war, I feel like you need a higher rating because you need to increase, I don't want to say gore, it doesn't have to be over the top gory, but you need to be able to tell a more mature story, and I think with a 12A rating, you're kind of limiting yourself. Again, no, this is just going from, like, reading. Obviously we haven't seen the film, so we don't know what it's like, but personally I feel I should have had a higher rating, but I guess as the studio doing, where, you know, they want younger people to be able to come see it, so they make more moolah.
Okay, on 24th of July, we have the release of Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. And now, I used to read Captain Underpants when I was little, and I fucking love Captain Underpants. So, we'll just see. Two overly imaginative pranksters named George and Harold hypnotize their principal into thinking he's a ridiculously enthusiastic, incredibly dim-witted superhero named Captain Underpants.
See, I'm one of those kids. I think I had a Captain Underpants book that was read to me, but I do not remember anything about it, and I never ever cared about it. So it's not a nostalgia fest for me. It's not something I care about, and the animation style looks.
It's like the books.
Yeah.
The animation style stays true to the pictures in the book.
Yeah, not something that interests me though. So I imagine, like, for a bunch of people like that grew up when we did, it may be interesting because it's a nostalgia fest. But personally, I don't care. On the 28th of July, we see the release of a film called Hounds of Love. Apparently, it's released on the 7th of July. Huh. Correction, this was actually released on the 7th of July. I must have had the wrong release date. Anyway, Hounds of Love. Vicky Malone is randomly abducted from a suburban street by a disturbed couple. As she observes the dynamic between the captors, she quickly realizes she must drive a wedge between them if she is to survive. It sounds...
I want to watch it.
Yeah, it sounds
interesting.
really interesting to me. The idea of... It's a kidnapping story, but the whole idea is, like, the couple is very fucked up and she has to figure out a way to drive. She has to try and turn them on each other to, I guess, escape. So it's a very interesting idea. I'm going to give it a watch at some point.
So on the 28th of July, we have a film called The Big Sick. Couple deals with their cultural differences as their relationship grows.
It's Kumai Nahaji. I can't remember how to say his name. I'm apologising because I just butchered it. A bunch of people like Edgar Wright and that have been promoting this a bunch, and it's just, it sounds interesting. And the film is about, obviously, like, two people from different cultures who come together in a relationship, and I guess it deals with, like, the whole culture shock stuff. My issue is that I feel that at some point in this film I'm going to roll my eyes from something a character says, because Kumai is notorious for saying really eye-rolly shit on Twitter. I don't know. I guess I'll give it a watch, but I'm kind of expecting to become very frustrated with characters.
I'm not interested in that at all.
Okay, same date, we see the release of the film The Wall, which is completely different to The Big Sick. The Wall is about two American soldiers who are trapped by a lethal sniper with only an unsteady wall between them. The reason why this is in this list is for one simple reason. It has John Cena in it.
John Cena's in what? In The Wall?
Yeah. And Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm pretty sure he was in Kick-Ass. He was Kick-Ass. Jesus Christ, look at him now.
I know, he's so beautiful, isn't he?
Oh shit, he was Quicksilver as well. So yeah, it's got Aaron Taylor Johnson and John Cena in it. It looks shit. It probably is going to be shit, but it's got two interesting people and a kind of interesting concept, just not. I doubt it's going to be executed well.
Next, on the same date, we have a film called Wish Upon. It is a fantasy horror thriller. A teenage girl discovers a box that carries magic powers and a deadly price for using them.
Again, it's a story that's been told 100 times over. Fucking Rick and Morty parodied this kind of idea with the curse shop, where you can get any item for free, but you're stuck with a curse, and that sounds like the same thing, where you can use it for magic, but you'll be stuck with like a curse or something. Something bad will happen. So, not a film that interests me at all.
I mean, I might have a look at it at some point, just because I like shitty horror, but we'll see what I think about it when I watch it, I suppose.
We're into August now. On the 2nd of August, we see the release of Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. A dark force threatens Alpha, a vast metropolis and home to species from 1,000 planets. Special operatives Valerian and Laureline must race to identify the marauding menace and safeguard not just Alpha, but the future of the universe. Oh, it's a comic book. I was going to say it sounds like it originated from a young adult novel, but it's a comic book instead. It has Cara Delevingne, Dana DeHaan, it's got fucking Rihanna in it for some reason, Ethan Hawke, John Goodman, and Clive Owen. I fucking love John Goodman. So yeah, a lot of people have seemingly been excited about it, but it just... I feel like we've had this kind of film plenty of times where there's like young actors in a sci-fi setting, and it always tends to be very clunky in dialogue and just narrative, and I never care about it. So it's not a film I'm interested in.
Not really. On the 4th of August, we have the release of a film called 6 Days. In April 1980, armed gunmen stormed the Iranian embassy in Prince's Gate, London, and took all inside hostage. Over the next 6 days, a tense standoff took place, all while a group of highly trained soldiers from the SAS prepared for a raid the world had never seen the likes of.
Yeah, it sounded interesting to me. I have a soft spot for the whole hostage situation stories, where like you obviously got the hostage story, and then you've got what's going on outside. It can, if done well, it's a very useful narrative tool. Part of me thinks it's probably going to be pretty shit, but so I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I won't go to see it in cinemas, but it's something I may give a watch if the reviews say it's decent. Otherwise, I'm probably going to pass on it. God, I don't want to mention this, but I have to. After that, we see the release of the Emoji Movie. I want to kill myself. Gene, a multi-special emoji, sets out on a journey to become a normal emoji. The fuck does that mean? Anyway, it's got the fucking cast is ridiculous considering how dreadful it sounds. It's got T.J. Miller, Patrick Stewart, fuck him, Christina Aguilera, J.T. Austin. Why do I recognize his name? Oh shit.
Yeah, he's the guy that was in Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah, Max. But yeah, we don't need an emoji movie. We don't. Please stop, Hollywood. Please stop.
Okay, so up next, on the same day, we have the release of one thing that I am very hyped for, England Is Mine, which is a portrait of Stephen Patrick Morrissey in his early life in the 1970s Manchester, before he went on to become the lead singer of seminal 80s band The Smiths. Okay, now, The Smiths are one of my favourite bands. and Morrissey is the love of my life. So there is no way that I am not going to be watching this film. I am so excited. It looks so good, and Morrissey.
Whereas I hate the Smiths and Morrissey's music, so I don't give a shit.
No, you're just blind to his greatness.
No, I just don't like it.
No, you don't.
Up next is Land of Mind, or Under Sunday is German. In post-World War II Denmark, a group of young German POWs are forced to clear a beach of thousands of landmines under the watch of a Danish sergeant who slowly learns to appreciate the play. Actually, I think it's Danish. Yeah, it's Danish. My apologies. It's Danish. Yeah, it sounds interesting. Young German prisoners of war. So does that mean they were part of the Nazi army? I'm assuming they were.
No, that probably means that the Danish army captured them and they're prisoners of war now.
Yeah, I know, but they were originally part of the Nazi army.
Probably.
Because that's the interesting thing that a lot of people skip over, is that a lot of the people who were a part of that army didn't actually believe, but it was conscription, I'm pretty sure. At that stage, it was conscription. You had to sign up. You had to be a part of the army. So, while you may not have agreed with it, they kind of had to go along with it. So, it's an interesting story from a different perspective that we don't often get, because we don't ever really get to, sympathize with the Germans.
Okay, up next on the same day we have the release of a film called Maudie. I think I'm saying that right. It is a drama, romance, biography. I don't know what that really means. Okay, an athletic Nova Scotia woman works as a housekeeper while she hones her skills as an artist and eventually becomes a beloved figure in the community.
Because it's a biographical film, it's obviously about someone. I just don't know who it's about, and that's why I don't care, but I left it in just in case people did know who it was about. It's not a film I'm interested in, but whatever. Up next, on the 9th of August, we see the release of Atomic Blonde, a film that I've been interested in for a while because people were saying it's basically female John Wick, and I fucking love John Wick. So, Atomic Blonde is about an undercover MI6 agent who was sent to Berlin during the Cold War to investigate the murder of a fellow agent and recover a missing list of double agents. It's got Charlize Theron, I think that's how you say her name, James McAvoy, John Goodman, Toby Jones. Yeah, it's it looks good, and I fucking love the trailers, so I'm definitely going to give this a watch.
I liked the trailer when we went to see Baby Driver, so I'll probably watch it as well. Also, Maudie is about Maud Lewis, an actual artist. Right, okay, so up next on the 11th of August, we have a film called A Ghost Story, which is a drama, fantasy, romance. In this singular exploration of legacy, love, loss, and the enormity of existence, a recently deceased white-sheeted ghost returns to his suburban home to try and reconnect with his bereft wife.
Sounds very indie, and I do love a good indie film.
So is this guy come back as a ghost with a sheet on his head to, not scare his wife or some shit?
Let's get Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara in it.
Yeah, he's literally got, a sheet. He's wearing a sheet.
Sounds very indie, so...
Can we watch this?
I'm going to give it a watch at some point.
Can we
do love a good indie film.
Can we please watch this? Yeah, I would like to see a dead person wear a sheet on his head, please.
Up next is Annabelle Creation. It's the second Annabelle film, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's 2 Annabelle films now.
Several years after the tragic death of their little girl, a dollmaker and his wife welcome a nun and several girls from a shuttered orphanage into their home, soon becoming the target of the dollmaker's possessed creation, Annabelle. I don't like horror, and I definitely don't like possessed doll stories. I know a few people who like horror have said they enjoyed Annabelle.
I haven't watched Annabelle yet, to be honest. I've had other things on my list to watch.
But I just it's not something I care for.
It's not high up in my list.
But I know a lot of people do like horror, so yeah, if you enjoyed the first Annabelle, there's another one coming out. So you probably already knew that. So
up next, a film called Step, which is a documentary. Step documents the senior year of a girls' high school step dance team against the background of inner city Baltimore.
I mean, it's an interesting concept. It tells a story that some people would like to make a point that doesn't really get told often. It's not something I'm gonna probably watch, but it exists, so if it sounds interesting for you, give it a watch. On the same day, we see the release of another biographical drama called Tom of Finland. Award-winning filmmaker Dom Karowski brings to screen the life and work of one of the most influential and celebrated figures of 20th century gay culture.
Fabulous.
Not a film I'm gonna watch, but
you're not gonna watch. Okay, so on the 18th of August we have a film released called An Inconvenient Sequel. A decade after An Inconvenient Truth brought climate change into the heart of popular culture, comes a follow-up that shows just how close we are to a real energy revolution.
Yeah, it's
I don't want to watch this.
Al Gore. Al Gore, he originally made a film called An Inconvenient Truth, which was about, it was kind of like the first big film about climate change, and he's making a sequel now, I'm assuming because Trump, and yeah. Climate change is an important issue to talk about, but it's getting absolutely butchered, and I'm not sure if it's because of dedicated Trump fans or if climate change deniers or something, but it's getting absolutely destroyed, and I don't know why. I probably skip. I'm very iffy about documentaries. I do enjoy good documentaries, don't watch a lot of them. Up next, we have a film called Dark Knight. Not to be confused with The Dark Knight. The lives of 6 strangers intersect at a suburban cineplex where a massacre occurs. Again, it sounds insanely interesting, but it's been destroyed by reviews. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I may give it a watch just because it sounds interesting. Again, reviews are opinions, so you don't always, just because people say it's bad doesn't mean it is. Except for Transformers, that film's dreadful. But yeah, it sounds interesting, so I'm probably going to give it a chance at some point.
Okay, up next on the same date we have a film called The Dark Tower.
It's a film that a lot of people have been interested in because they love the stories.
Idris Elba's in it.
Yeah.
Okay. The gunslinger Roland Deschain roams an old west-like landscape where the world has moved on in pursuit of the man in black, also searching for the fabled Dark Tower in the hopes that reaching it will preserve his dying world.
Yeah, it originates from a book, a novel, I think, a series of novels. People have been really excited about it because A, they enjoyed the books, and B, it's got Idris Elba, but it's also got Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Alright.
Stop.
I don't know anything about the story. I mean, Matthew McConaughey, Idris Elba, and the setting sounds interesting, so I might give it a chance. But probably more for people who enjoy the books, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. It's one of those things you never know with book turned to film if it's going to be more for the fans or more for a casual audience. And I guess we'll find out once reviews come out. Up next, we see the release of the film The Hitman's Bodyguard. Part of me thinks it's going to be dreadful, but it's got Ryan Reynolds and Samuel Jackson in it.
So which one is the hitman and which one's the bodyguard?
Samuel Jackson's the hitman, Ryan Reynolds is the bodyguard.
Okay.
The world's top bodyguard gets a new client, a hitman who must testify at the International Court of Justice. They must put their differences aside and work together to make a trial on time. Again, it sounds like a fun idea. It's got a cast that can definitely pull it off, but part of me is feeling it's a very Hollywood film and it's going to be dreadful. But I'm keeping my hopes up high because I want it to be good. So here's to hoping. I'm going to give it a watch, as long as it doesn't get absolutely slaughtered.
On the 23rd of August, we have a film called Your Name. Original title, Kimo no Nawa. So it's Japanese, I think. 2 strangers find themselves linked in a bizarre way. When a connection forms, will distance be the only thing to keep them apart?
Yeah, it's another anime film.
Yeah.
So you already know my views on anime. Not gonna repeat myself.
It looks the same as every single other anime film. Oh, that anime girl's pretty cute though.
Most anime girls are pretty cute. That's the whole point of them.
Look how beautiful she is. So cute.
Japan's a very perverted place. On the 25th of August, we're on to the last releases now. Last few. On the 25th of August, we see the release of American Made. A pilot lands work for the CIA and as a drug runner in the South during the 1980s. It's another Tom Cruise film. It's also got Dom Gleason in it, who and Jesse Plemons. Jesus Christ, you haven't met Jesse Plemons in Breaking Bad yet? You're gonna hate him. Eventually. Yeah. Don't care. Tom Cruise is one of those actors I don't think is dreadful. I just don't care for him. I mean, I enjoyed which Mission Impossible film? I enjoyed Ghost Nation? No, that was Rogue Nation. Ghost Protocol. That was a enjoyable Mission Impossible film, but apart from that, I don't really care for him.
I ain't got anything to say about that film. Anyway, so up on the same date we have a film called Bushwick. Bushwick is an action-adventure. When a Texas military force invades their Brooklyn neighborhood, 20-year-old Lucy and more veteran Stoop must depend on each other to survive.
It does sound interesting. Like, it could be good.
It could be.
That's not the thing. Oh, it's got Dave Bautista in it.
Batista.
Yeah.
As in the wrestler, Batista.
Dave Bautista.
Oh, yes!
I'm not going to be able to not see him as Drax now. That's the only problem.
So you just got a, like, Batista bomber for the entire... I'd love that.
She just revealed your greatest secrets. Do me. I don't know, sounds like it could be interesting, so I guess we'll wait. After that, we see the release of the film Detroit. Amidst the chaos of the Detroit Rebellion, with the city under curfew and as the Michigan National Guard patrols the streets, 3 young African-American men were murdered at the Algiers Motel. It's got John Boyega in it. No one else I recognise. There's not a lot. A crime drama history. Oh, if it's based on history, it could be interesting. I might give it a watch.
Is Batista still wrestling?
No.
So up next we have a film called Logan Lucky. So comedy crime drama. 2 brothers attempt to pull off a heist during a NASCAR race in North Carolina.
Has Adam Driver and Sebastian Stan in it. Somebody said it was like White Trash Snatch or something. Steven Soderbergh as well. Oh, Channing Tatum's in it. And Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Right, Steven Soderbergh, he also directed... Yeah, shit, no, he... It wasn't White Trash Snatch, it was White Trash Ocean's 11.
Adam Driver's in it as well.
Yeah, because Steven Soderbergh directed the Ocean's trilogy. He was also the producer on Magic Mike.
Channing Tatum's in it as well.
He directed Magic Mike.
Oh, Channing Tatum.
No, fucking Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah.
Rebecca Blunt. Oh, she's only written this. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. I might give it a watch. And the last film for the month of August is... It must have been pushed back because I swear this was going to release last month.
Seth MacFarlane's in it.
Oh god, I'm not going to watch it then.
Liam's hatred towards Seth MacFarlane is really fucking funny.
Terrible. Anyway, I swear we talked about this last time.
Well, that was no, we didn't. We when we went to see Baby Driver on Tuesday, this was one of the adverts.
No, I've known about this for a while.
Yeah, but it was on the adverts.
Yeah, and it looked dreadful.
Yesterday on Tuesday as well, and you went, "Fuck me, this looks awful."
It does.
And I was laughing my head off the entire time.
See, I heard good things, and Bo Burnham's in this.
Is he?
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll give it a chance. And then I saw the trailer, and it was dreadful. So this film can go fuck itself.
No, we still need to watch it.
I know.
Because Bo Burnham's in it.
But yeah, that is all of the releases for the month of July and August. That's all we've got time for today. So we will see you next time, which is probably going to be September. Until then, bye.